Good morning, everybody. This is Rotaract Jain, Community Service Director of RC Hinduja for the current year. And we have Sia Gupta, the Managing Director at Urvari, if I'm pronouncing it right. And she is an active member of the organization who joined right after the founders and has been a very active participant in the same. So, welcome, Sia. It's glad to have you here.
Glad to be here.
Um, So my first question to you is that what actually motivated you to join this organization?
Vasu and Khushi, I actually knew both of them. I wasn't friends with them, but I sort of knew them. And I was always motivated to start something like this myself. So when I got to know that they both have started an initiative, I was really happy. And I approached them saying, "Oh, can I work with you?" And they were like, "Sure, we are actually together a core team. We would love to have you on board." And since then, it has been 2 years since that happened, and we've grown really close friends working together in the organization.
So the next one is that what keeps your passion for this organization going strong? Because there are times where you just feel like giving up. So what keeps you going?
So just the fact that climate change is such a big threat, and the fact that nothing we do will be substantial can bring you down at times, but you should just knowing that the only option we have is to try our best is what keeps us going. We have a wonderful team, so even if I am not working, there is always someone working. And the chaotic energy of the group, honestly, it was is what keeps us going, because we always know that we can take breaks, we can work at our own pace, we can take mental health checks, etc. So that's what keeps us as a group going, and that's what keeps the motivation up, because there's always brainstorming going on, and everyone's just thinking how we can find new creative ways to inspire people around us and work ourselves. So yes.
So you have conducted a lot of campaigns, but what has been your most memorable campaign so far?
Oh, of course, the shelter projects. Uh, they have been our most successful and our most the ones we had to work the hardest for. And just in terms of time, right? The first shelter took us an entire year to build, and we were just 8 people building an entire shelter, making 150 eco bricks, which just handling the construction was crazy. And just the fact that everyone loved it, and we were able to build 3 more shelter in just 3 months after the first one took an entire year. That will be the most memorable to me. And right now I'm in Canada for studies, but in the last 3 months in India there were 3 shelter built amidst my entire packing and just visa, passport, all those things. I was building shelters during that time, and I will never forget just running from here to there, conducting everything. And yeah, it was really successful project. And the thing is, after we made the eco-brick shelter, there were a lot more people inspired. I think the Animal Welfare Club at Xavier started a similar thing. The Maharashtra government started an eco-brick making competition. And yeah, so the fact that we can inspire people around us to do similar things, and the fact that so many people got to know about eco-bricks from us was surprising to us, honestly. And yeah, it was really good.
So what, according to you, is the biggest environmental threat currently on which we really need to focus?
Uh, um, I don't know if I can name one, but single-use plastic for sure. Need to get rid of that. And waste disposal of single-use plastic, right? So we need waste. We need to find ways to recycle single-use plastic, and we need to ensure that they do not land up in our oceans, because if that happens, we're basically killing the wildlife of oceans, which is really, really bad. Um, Fast fashion is another one. It's something we have control over, right? Because like fossil fuels is another one. So okay, so the big three are single-use plastic, fast fashion, and fossil fuels. Now, fossil fuels is big corporations and the what do you call it? The political system of a country, right? They can majorly enforce laws to stop fossil fuels, and what we can do is speak about it. But whenever the problem with the public is whenever you speak about an environmental issues, they're like, why are you speaking about it? Go out and do something. That's the general attitude towards anyone speaking about climate change. So yeah, so we can speak about fossil fuels, but fast fashion is something we can control ourselves. We can see where we're buying from, how much we are buying, how long are we using our clothes for, because it's very easy to get carried away by trends, and the trends are basically students, right? So we'll not go around buying expensive, sustainable clothing, but that doesn't mean that we can't cut down our um, consumer behaviors, right? That can't You can always find better alternatives of clothing, even at a cheaper option. So fast fashion is something we can um, keep in our minds and actually battle ourselves as college students. So fast fashion and single-use plastic, yes, that is what the entire eco-brick shelter project was aimed around. So yep.
So today we live in a very technological world where we're all dependent upon technology. So how far the technology can actually help us save the environment?
Oh, I think technology can be used as a boon, and it can do wonders, and not only in the environment space, but in every space. If we use technology properly, it can do wonders. Now, um, we were interviewing a bunch of environmentalists last year, right? And we interviewed a guy from Finland. I think he was from Finland. And this guy had developed a technology which could separate microplastics from water. Okay. And what he was doing was making a machine to install into washing machines, so that like after our clothes are washed, there's a bunch of microplastics in the water, right? And all that gets dumped to the ocean. So there, he was making a kind of filter which he installed in washing machines, which separated out the microplastics so that the water we were draining into the ocean didn't have microplastics. So that's such a great thing, right? And that's such a small thing, but imagine if all washing machines had that, what difference it would make on like the health of our oceans. So that was one great thing. We can use technology to again voice our opinions, right? Because because if you read enough about politics, and if you are a political science student, you will know that politicians only care about votes, right? So they don't have an innate ideology. They always work on basis of what the public opinion is. So enough people have to care about environment and speak about environment for politicians to listen and enforce laws. And we are in an age where we don't need to go out and protest. We can literally tweet for our opinions to be heard. And how great is that, right? So we can use technology to voice our opinions and raise awareness for sure. Um, and even create platforms where we can give other environmental organizations chances, right? Like a few months ago, I had this idea actually, and I pitched it to Vasu, but we are not that huge to create this thing. But we wanted to create a platform like Amazon, but it's Amazon with just sustainable companies. Okay. So we review the standards of a company, And then like, so it's basically a platform where you can go and you can buy everything you can buy on Amazon, but all of it is sustainable companies, right? So if people can build apps like that, and if all you need is creativity, right? And technology can support your creativity to achieve anything. So yeah, I think technological change is a great thing if used in the right way, of course.
So everybody has a backstory when before starting something. So what inspired, like what was the first thing that a motive, like you just like told you to go inside climate change activism? There's something which, in our childhood probably or somewhere which, just tells us, what I should do this. So what was your thing?
Okay. So, of course, as you might know, Urvarina's wasn't founded by me. It was founded by Vasu and Khushi. And I'll tell you their backstory. So, the time they started Urvari was when the Amazon forest fires were happening, okay, and they were at their peak. And these people were reading about it every day in the news, on social media. They were reading about it on a bunch of platforms, right? And they were really affected by this news. And they thought, what can we do to combat this problem, which is happening continents away, right? And they thought, let's do what we as 10th graders can do, which is go out and plant 5 plants each week, right? So that is what they started with. So I used to go out every week and plant 5 plants. And then I saw them doing this, and then I joined them. Then 5 became 10, 10 became 100. Then those 5 died. Then we were like, oh my God, we have to also take care of them. So it was a journey of figuring out how to plant plants. Then we were like, fine, it's not just about plants. The reason the fires happened was because of climate change as a whole, right? So that's when we started exploring topics related to climate change and working in those fields. And so eventually we ventured into cleanliness drives. Then the eco break thing came. We started exploring sustainability as a whole, and that's how we started. If you want to know on a personal level, I come from a family of people who love nature, who love gardening. We have a garden where we grow. My mom grows like bitter gourds and tomatoes and chili. That's all growing in her garden all the time. So my family actually used to collect seeds during the monsoon and then go out and then plant those every monsoon. So they were big on environmentalism. And I read up a lot about climate change just as a hobby, which eventually led to eco anxiety, which is basically a thing where you're like, oh, climate change ho raha hai aur meri phat rahi hai. So that started happening. And I thought, oh, what can I do to battle my eco anxiety? And that's how I thought I'll just do what's in my what I can do. I'll do the best I can do and then just not think about it. And that's how Urvari basically helped me battle that. And I'm grateful about that. So yeah.
Did you face any issues in the beginning of?
Oh, so many of them. um we're still facing issues, man. Anyway, so but at the very beginning, one issue, as I said, we started planting, but we didn't know planting. So, planting trees and taking care of them is a lot more difficult than it looks, guys. So yeah, so that was a process to figure out. Anyway, we cracked that. Then inspiring people, because now it's trendy. No, everyone sees that a reels gets views and likes and all that. But when you have only 5, 6 followers and you're like, please come to my plantation, right? It's very difficult to get people to come, honestly. When something is not cool, it's difficult to get people to do anything. But so yeah, just finding people who are willing to come to our plantation drives to contribute at any level was a difficulty. uh, we have at every stage faced organizational issues just because we are such a chaotic bunch of people. And we are 16-year-olds, right? We were 16-year-olds when we started. Now we are 18-year-olds. But it was difficult because we didn't know how to organize stuff. So there was a lot of miscommunication before we started to learn how to work as a team. And now we're facing a financial issue where we have the eco bricks now, we have the manpower, but building eco bricks needs money, right? The construction part of it needs money, and we do not have that. We were putting in money ourselves and we were getting money from like other organizations, but that has eventually started to get over, and we have we as inexperienced people haven't yet established a steady source of money to finance ourselves. So that is currently an issue which we are trying to solve. So yeah, there have been a lot of issues, but the key is again to keep going, because if you keep going, you figure it out along the way. There comes someone with a solution. You talk to your parents, you talk to your teachers, you talk to your friends, and someone always has a solution. And that has essentially been what has kept us going. Am I speaking for too long?
No, not at all, not at all. And the last question to you is, what is the advice that you would give to the current and upcoming generation?
Oh, I am the current and upcoming generation, man. um, One advice that I would like to give is just go out and do something. Okay, like we all have we all have issues that we care about, right? And at this point, I'm not even talking about the environment. Any issue that you think is close enough to your heart, don't just think about it. Go out and do something, even if it's the smallest thing, even if you think it won't affect anything. Just if you care about the environment, make sure to take out time from studying or your work or whatever responsibilities you have to attend at least one beach cleanup a month or in 2 months. Okay. That it's not difficult at all, right? There are so many people around us doing such a great job. And the least you can do is just go out and contribute, because it means a lot for us when someone comes to one of our beach cleanups, right? And when someone comes to us and say, oh, I'm inspired to do this because I saw you. That's essentially what keeps us going every day. And you think you are not making a difference, but you are, right? Because these are these are global issues. So whatever you will do will always be too small to affect the entire picture. But that doesn't mean you stop doing it. Because when we hosted a cleanliness drive with like 50 volunteers at Juhu Beach, and we cleaned up basically the entire thing, and we had like 30 bags of plastic with us. Even at that point, Vasu was telling me, what difference does it make? If you come tomorrow, there'll be more plastic. And I was like, it's not about that. It's about what we could do and what we tried to do, right? It's the effort that matters. So one advice is just to go out and do things. And the second is, again, I think this is the theme of this interview. Just go out and voice your opinions. If you feel strongly about climate change, tell others that you feel strongly about climate change. Speak about it to your parents, siblings. Tease me every day. He used to be like, what are you doing, man? This is so dumb. And I used to be like, shut up. And then eventually now he helps me with our projects. He helped us with the clothes donation drive that we had, where where we collected clothes from people who weren't using them, and then we donated it to flood relief. Environmental issue. Okay, where we plan to talk about environmental issues in a rational way, because currently one more problem in our community is that environmentalists are usually very hostile, and I don't blame them because I understand their concern. But if you're being hostile, then you're essentially limiting your community and preventing it from going to the mainstream. So talk about issues rationally, research about them, know what is right and what is wrong, and build an opinion formed enough that when someone asks you a question, you can give reasoning for your opinion, right? So yeah, I am excited about the podcast, and it will hopefully be out till the New Year's, hopefully. But yeah.
It was a very good experience having a teenager like you with such great thoughts interviewing you. It's really very inspiring. And again, thank you very much for taking out your time from another country itself. It is really great. So we just express our gratitude towards you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. It was great being here.